DJ and PK has completely crossed me up. What are you doing, PK? Posting a question.
Radio.
Did you see those TV viewership numbers for BYU football this season?
Yeah, they were awesome.
Since when do you care about TV ratings? You have lectured us on those for 20 years.
I didn't say, did you care? I said, did you see? And people care about them. It's because I don't do the show for myself. Even though I am an absolute narcissistic dope, I do not do the show for myself.
Nice.
We talk about what our folks, our listenerships, what they are interested in. That's why we go heavy local, right? Jazz, Utes, Cougars, Aggies, Mammoth, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And here, well, I saw these numbers and I thought, I've got some dear friends who are Cougar fans. I have no problem publicly admitting that. I know you don't really want to go out on a limb and admit that, but I will. And I know that's going to make them warm and fuzzy because those numbers, you want to talk about numbers that were astounding
Thank you,
on a
Gordon.
full-time basis?
Thank you, Gordon.
That's what these TV numbers show for BYU. My goodness.
Just a shade.
For years, they were uncool. Now they're as cool as can be.
Just a shade under 9 million people for the bowl win. Just a shade under 9 million people for the Big 12 title game, and 37.5 million overall. Almost half of the viewers were in those two games, but really good numbers.
Second best behind those bought and sold Oregon Ducks
in the Western United States. Yes,
I said in the West.
Yeah.
That's well, I mean, that's where the people would
move over. USC and Washington.
Psst, USC,
please.
What was this? 1995 here? I mean, come on.
They were third, 30 million.
Well, that's because they play Notre Dame. Anybody who plays Notre Dame is going to have big numbers. Jeez. Go put Notre Dame on your schedule and see what they do. That's why everybody kills to get Notre Dame on their schedule. I mean, come on. Look at everybody. They more than, if my math is correct, they more than doubled up Utah.
That's true. Utah ended up at about 14.8 million, which was seventh behind the.
They tripled my dear Sun Devils, who I hold close to my heart.
Sorry.
Tripled them.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do?
And the Mormon church is just growing by leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds. Cougar fans are being created every single day.
So that 38 million number is only going to go up.
Yes, their fan base literally is fruitful and does multiply. Am I right? Yes. Can you imagine where it's going to be in the year 2525?
If the Big 12 is still alive.
It doesn't matter. BYU will be alive.
If the ACC can survive.
I mean, the Big 12 without BYU, it might as well be intramurals, buddy.
Brother, not buddy, brother.
Are you sure?
Oh, go play intramurals, brother.
Okay. Yeah.
It's Division I football. It's the Big 12.
That will never, ever grow old. Will stand the test of time.
I'm telling you, your Mark, I've tried to help you out. You're a fellow Jersey guy like I am. And I think that every time in the title game, as the teams get ready to run out, or as the kickoff is reaching fever pitch, and just as long as Cody Campbell signs off about it, because we don't know who Texas Tech is going to play next December, have them agree to it, and then right before the kickoff, you blast that over the speakers in the Cowboy Stadium. It's Division I football. It's the Big 12. The place goes nuts. They should use that. That's their calling card. It's Division I football. It's the Big 12. That ought to be their logo and slogan. How do they not use that over and over and over again?
Now his voice is getting high and cracking.
Even better, the sense of urgency.
It's the Big 12.
know what? It's Division I football. It's the Big 12. No passion there.
Then if you
Play
win
that
at
again,
home,
Yak.
you know, like at Yankee Stadium when the
It's
Yankees.
Division I football. It's the Big 12.
When the Yankees win, they play Sinatra, right? On the way out as everyone's leaving the ballpark. And you know it's a W because Sinatra's singing. So when Texas Tech wins, then you could play at the end as the losing team leaves, go play intramurals, brother. Taunt them on the way to the locker room.
No, wait. You're trying to get a second team in, and you're going to mock the losing team. That's not really good strategy.
I don't think they care about getting the second team in. Everybody for themselves. The rest of the league cares.
Not, but I think Yormark does.
We're us. Yeah, Yormark does. Yormark will call and knock it off. I'll find you this for storming, and I'll find you this for the post-game clip.
Nothing is going to happen without his approval at that game, and so that's when you got a ready-made slogan, and they're putting Sorsby's name and likeness up on the screens in Times Square. Have that, man. It's Division I football. It's the Big 12. When you put it at that level, there's nothing between them and the other two conferences in the ACC. They are right there. They're playing the exact same thing that you are. It's Division I football. It's the Big 12. And then you could have for like 2 days on Times Square and the marquees, big bold letters. What is it? And then in parentheses, answer coming soon. And then everybody will look at it. What's it going to be? And then 2 days later, you have, what is it in smaller letters? And then you blare, it's Division I football. It's the Big 12. Oh, my goodness gracious. And right there, leading the charge with viewership is the Brigham Young Cougars with 37.56 million Mormons who watch them play football. That's a lot of Mormons, David.
There's this whole thing about conference expansion. You don't want two teams in one state because, you've already got that. You've already got the viewers in that area. But if these two schools are generating that much in the way of viewers, would somebody take them both?
Who are we speaking of?
Well, probably the Big Ten and BYU Utah because we're sitting here. But I mean, it could apply to any market where two teams were drawing really well. You know, as the Big Ten has expanded, well, there's only one team to take in Nebraska, right? But Rutgers, Maryland, they're not taking two from a market the way they have Michigan and Michigan State, in the same state, or Indiana and Purdue are in the same state. They're not doing that anymore. They're just adding one at a time. But if you look at two teams, it's like, would you take another team in the West that doesn't draw as well? I mean, the teams that draw the best in the West are the four teams the Big Ten's already taken, and then it's BYU, Colorado, and Utah. And Colorado, I don't think it's Colorado. I think it's Dion, and he's not going to coach forever. Maybe one more year, maybe two, maybe three. We'll see how it plays out. But I don't see realigning over a coach who's been there 3 years.
Well, I wouldn't see realigning over any singular entity.
Yeah.
As far as that goes. And even with Dion, if he coaches the 10 years and they have 8 losing seasons, then that novelty is long since worn off. All his catchy phrases, his spiffy interviews that he does.
You got to win.
Yeah, it just becomes background noise. And then actually he will be pitied, not I don't want to say worshipped, but admired and watched.
Exalted.
He's got to win. You just have to win. These people aren't watching BYU to lose, right? Obviously, they're watching them to win. I think you have to look at everything, and that's why the Big 12 is ecstatic to have BYU in there. There's just no question about it. I mean, because they bring folks to the table. Their fan base, and you can say, oh yeah, well, it's the church affiliation, BFD. It doesn't matter what the affiliation is. It's like I said with Vegas. If they got out-of-towners going to their baseball games when the team comes here in a couple of years, the money counts just the same. It doesn't matter. And they draw. Everybody, any beat writer can attest to that because he or she has seen it with their own eyes. Right? It doesn't matter where you go. I tell the story of The Cougars are playing in Auburn Hills, the Palace where they had the Malice, right? Well, that's a little bit a way out of Detroit. They've since moved in, but back then they were going to play Michigan State out there, right? And that's down the freeway. Having been to Detroit many times, my brother-in-law lived right down the street from there, and so it's in December, and I get there on a Friday night. And it's cold, it's icy and all that. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, just get me to the hotel. And I pull in the parking lot, and I usually pull up where you can walk in to closer by the entrance to register, right? And then go park the car. And it was up a little incline. And as I pull up right ahead of me, I see, I don't remember the state. It's a BYU personalized license plates. He's in the suburbs of Detroit 2 weeks before Christmas on a Friday night. They literally are everywhere, right? I told the story. Val Hill told me the story of who was it? UCLA having increased attendance. The AD at SC saying, "Well, it's BYU, man. Yeah. Schedule BYU, and you'll get an extra 15,000 folks will come to the game." Okay. He does it, right? And I was at that game, and sure enough, they do. So you can't compare them to Notre Dame. No one can compare to Notre Dame that way, but they do bring in folks. And so I get your point, but do they bring in baggage? Well, it seems like outside of the Sunday play, a lot of that stuff has been mitigated and gone away to the level it used to be, right? Rondo Fehlberg, we talked about this with him. He's been on our air many times. He says emphatically the reason why that they didn't go to these other conferences, Big 12 or Pac-12 before, there's no question it was good old-fashioned religious discrimination. I believe that's a literal quote, right? He said that. Well, there was a while there when the Big 12 that was an issue here most recently when they were, not this time because they obviously expanded, but before that, there was a little bit pushback because of the supposed standards against gays. That was a big deal. Well, this time around, did that even surface? Didn't even seem like that was a big deal. And I don't know, has BYU changed their stance on that? I don't know. I don't get into that. It's none of my business. But they were readily accepted. Now, the Big 12 was in a more desperate situation, and they needed BYU more, and that's obviously why they got in. They wanted him even before that, but they didn't expand. So yeah, I think your point is taken. I would love to see. Wherever they go, BYU and Utah go together. I don't think that getting to the Big Ten solves all your problems, because you just mentioned some schools and programs, particularly in football, who suck year after year after year.
Well, the whole money disparity thing we're talking about in the Big 12 and the endless amounts of oil money that Texas Tech has, you're just going to have a different problem. Now, first off, maybe Texas Tech goes with you, so you still have that problem. I mean, who knows how this will play out, if it plays out at all. But if it were to happen, maybe they went with you and you still have that problem. But then Ohio State and Michigan and Oregon would be a problem. Apparently, Indiana is now a problem. Now, Penn State's not short on money. I mean, it blew up this year, but before that, they were rolling.
Why would Texas Tech need to go to the Big 12? The Big 10? Or the SEC for that matter? What can they get there that they're not getting now?
More big games, I guess. Is it good for the ego if those are viewed as the two biggest leagues, and more money? Not like they're short of money, but everybody wants more. And I mean, to go to the SEC to be in the same league with Texas and Texas A&M, I think that'd fire them up.
But why? Sure, but why do they need it? What can't they get out of the Big 12? They can get whatever they want out of the Big 12.
They're in the playoff, so it's up to them to be better and win it.
Yeah. So go get what they think is a better quarterback, and hopefully for their sakes, develop a better quarterback.
I mean, the reason would be that, the ground rules are going to change, and even though they're getting what they want now, maybe they don't think they'll be able to get what they want later. And so,
well, I don't think the Big 12 is going to be absolutely denied. You talk about lawsuits. If the group of 5 is denied, or group of 6 in basketball, whatever it might be. Well, if they're not going to be denied, the Big 12 is not going to be denied. It's not going to happen there. So rather than worry about what you don't have, focus on what you can do to make the best of what you do have. Because I think that look at the U of U, their football program, and they just won 11-2. And that says a lot. And they're going to have professionals. They're going to have 2 offensive tackles drafted in the first round, if all the projections are true, which they probably are, right? And Morgan mentioned that yesterday, that Spencer Fano is probably going to be the first O lineman taken. Well, he doesn't need to go play in the SEC or the Big Ten to achieve that. You got that right here in our backyard. And that's what they need to sell. That's what he was pushing about their culture. What are you looking for as a young man, young woman, when you make your athletic decision, right? Because maybe they can't compete bottom dollar, but everything else. Why can't the U of U provide you as a women's basketball player or as a men's basketball player, or what have you? Football obviously is king. They can get you whatever it is that you're looking for, right? And there's a lot to sell. And you can go to the U of U and you won't get lost, man. If you're a star there, you will be recognized. We talk about it all the time, right? The amount of time we talk about college football versus the NFL, what is it, 50-1, would you say? Something like that?
Probably pretty lopsided. When we come back, Tim LaComb is talking BYU and the Utah Jazz. That's next. Stay with us.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G.
Don't touch that button.
Check this out.
Eric Weddle, kind enough to join us.
We need to get back to players that want to be part of our university, that will appreciate what the university can give them. The culture, the buy-in, what Coach Morgan and those guys are going to be emphasizing day in and day out of being great men on and off the field, right? Future leaders, future husbands and fathers. Like, those programs are what I want my son to be a part of. It's not the guys that are money hungry. We're not going to beg people to stay at our university. We're not going to overpay guys because they got other universities that are offering more money. Then if that's the case and you don't appreciate what this school can give you, then good luck, because we're going to be fine. The University of Utah is an amazing school with amazing support, and those who want to be a part of it, let's ride.
It's Hans and Scotty, weekdays from noon to 3. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's a Win Tickets Wednesday. Don't miss your chance to win big every week on the KSL Sports Zone. Today, a chance to see Toto. Caller 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE, wins a pair of tickets to see Toto with special guests Christopher Cross and the Romantics at the Utah First Federal Credit Union Amphitheater on August 21st. DJ PK, we're joined now by Tim LaComb. Tim, good morning.
Favorite song by the Romantics?
What is it?
Oh, I was asking y'all, but you don't probably even listen to that kind of genre.
Y'all?
I'm going to go with, I hear the secrets that you keep when you're talking in your sleep.
Nice.
How are we doing, boys?
We're doing well. We just listened to Cody Williams say, get asked why he's playing better, and he says watching a lot of film and looking for cues. You know, he's cutting, he's slashing better. You know, a defender turns his head, that's the cue to go. Tim, that is something that a lot of people driving around listening to this are thinking, my high school basketball, or maybe before that, taught me that. Why are NBA guys learning that? And is the answer is they can't teach you to be taller, longer, faster, and jump higher, so they draft the best athletes and will teach them the game?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. Just the sheer age of these guys. Everybody goes through a different learning experience. And I think, obviously, Cody played for a great college coach. So, I mean, he understands the basic ideas, but NBA packages are a little bit more complex. I think defenses they're a little bit different because they have to, they have to flex outside the lane. So you're not seeing quite exactly the same kind of looks in college and the NBA, but what I think Cody's, I've always said this, when guys get to a certain level of understanding of the game, it slows down for him. And I really believe that's what Cody's kind of experiencing. I think he has identified opportunities that maybe last year came and went so fast he didn't even recognize them. But I have seen definitely a step forward for Cody. And, if he can become a guy on offense that can give you something, defensively, he's definitely built for that end. He's long. He's doing a much better job physically, even though he's still kind of in the bulk phase of his career. He's still got to add some bulk, which will make him even more effective. But from where we were last year and even the start of the season, I'm excited for Cody to have made some headway. And I think that's the most important thing.
Well, since I'm Debbie Downer, because is the excited that you're excited for him making some headway is because he made none last year. So anything is better than last year.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And if you look around the league, the Jazz just played Portland, and Donovan Clingan was picked very high after a year. I don't know how, especially with the year, he just needed to lose some weight. He needed to become more agile, and I watched him play the other night, and he's a completely different dude. So I think the thing that is tough is to try to, paint somebody as what they are in year 1, 2, 3, because we've seen it with Keontae this year. Growth happens. And, yeah, the growth is different for different guys. But any kind of growth, in my mind, is pretty good.
Right.
And we just saw with the Jazz getting blown out in Portland, we saw Denny Avdia going nuts, and he's breaking out or hitting another level anyway in year 6 at 25 points a game.
Exactly.
Took him 4 years to get to double digits. Now in his 6th year, 25 points a night.
And he's a guy who, he's still got stuff to work on. I mean, there's things in his game, but yeah, you hear it all the time, the whole idea that development is not linear, that everybody is on their own path. And yeah, for Cody, it's almost like having some stocks. You invest in different stocks, and you've got one right out of the gate that shoots to double, and you're so excited, and the other one's kind of just hanging and maybe going a little bit below. And then all of a sudden you see maybe a 1 or 2% growth on the thing, and you're like, okay, the thing's got a chance. Maybe there's a chance here.
How much is it a fine line between seeing, and you use George and you use Williams, and those are two of the younger guys, and there's a slew of them. We can name 4 or 5 others. Their improvement, and DJ just brought up the kid from Portland. Well, when he got there, Damian Lillard was taking all the shots, so that guy ain't going to get any shots. And then they make a change. How much of it is that fine line between opportunity, but you can't just give them opportunity for opportunity's sake? It has to be earned, but yet there's no way they're going to get better if they don't get opportunity. You see that? It's kind of a paradox there. And you wonder, how does a coach, in this case, it's Will Hardy, and that's his assignment, how does he handle that? Because you don't want to give, but you need to give in order for them to show you something.
That's a great question. And I think Will is actually a great coach, but I think one of his greatest skills is ability, particularly with his team, to communicate. And we've seen video of him communicating in different ways, on the bench. Sometimes, he's really got to kind of get into them. But I think the reason he can get into them is I get to the games beforehand, and Will come out before the game, and it's different guys, but he will sit down next to a dude on the bench and, chat with him and notice there's some laughter, and then it gets serious. But the bottom line is the way you handle all that is you hold these guys accountable to something that, that's important to you and their development. As they check those boxes, they earn time. And then through that period, there's the whole idea of, like Cody said, watching film and reviewing what you've done, and what worked and what didn't. And so it's just this constant daily process. And for many, it seems, it seems like guys just show up and play, but there's so much to this, and there's so much behind the scenes to guys getting ready to do it. And then, as you said it, when they get their opportunity, that's where everything's got to kind of come together. And so, yeah, it's some of that's dictated by roster and opportunity, but the bottom line is you got to stick with it. You got to stay the course. And I think the reason it's working, I think you're seeing guys come through the Jazz system get better. I think there's a myriad of reasons. I think great coaches, the development guys are sensational. And I've heard it from, more than a couple people. I heard Love say it the other night or yesterday on a podcast, how Kevin Love talked about how awesome Utah is and how great this organization is run in comparison to a lot of the places he's been. So I think they're maximizing everything they can. It's just time now. And I've been sitting in that seat for 6 years. I've watched this whole thing. I've watched every single game. And this is, throw the last game out because it was not indicative of what this year's been in a lot of ways. But I see a more competitive team. I see a team with better players, more players further along than last year. I see some star power developing. And so, it's hard when you're looking at it from a distance, but I think in there every single day, there's a lot going on, and the how far they can continue to push it, we'll see. But I'm excited about the growth, and I know it's hard when you're still losing, but they're losing better.
We just heard, and Will Hardy's talked about this a couple times now, about how bad the defense is, and Will just not pleased that they're ranked 30th in the league again. And I know the circumstances. Last year they were dumping games on purpose and playing terrible lineups on purpose, so that contributed to it. And Kessler's out this year, and obviously not having his shot blocking is contributing to it. But if you had to put 5 guys out there and prioritize defense and just let the other stuff go, maybe it's not the best rebounding group, and that is part of getting defensive stops, and maybe it's not the best shooting group, but if you had to put 5 players out there, so that maybe they were just, the 25th best team defensively, the 20th best team, which 5 would you put out there, and could you impact everyone's behavior by rewarding those 5 guys with more playing time?
I'd have to trade for a center.
Yeah, they don't have one.
Do that?
They don't have one. You can only you're going to put out 4 good defenders and someone that you will label a center, but they won't be good at that. Right.
Well, I'm going to put Nurk out there because he's, as Majerus would say, he's the biggest ship in the fleet, and we need an aircraft carrier at least inside to eliminate, maybe eliminate a couple drives here and there just by seeing the big fella. Can I go to the G League?
You can do whatever you want.
Right?
You're putting the best defenders out there.
All right, Mo Harkless has got to be on the floor. Let's see, not Mo Harkless, Elijah Harkless. I think we've got to go with Taylor Hendricks, and I think we got to go with Cody Williams. And you know what? I'm going to stick Lowry out there because he's tough, he's physical. I've seen some better defense. I've seen some things from Lowry in stretches. So give me those 5.
Give you those 5. Okay, I will give you those 5. Now, I want to talk a little bit about BYU and the 5 that they have playing huge minutes against Kansas State, man. Guys playing 35, 37 minutes. 4 of the 5 playing well over 30. Keita's the only one who didn't. He played 27. Played 3 guys off the bench. In the long run, I'm worried about that. How much it's the same thing that I asked you, the essence of the question. It's on the coaches to develop a bench, but if they're not playing well, do you play them? how does a coaching staff develop a bench that I don't need to play 3 guys, really 4 guys, over 35 of the 40 minutes?
Well, I think that's part of what preseason, what you kind of see what you have. But I was so impressed with the schedule that the KY and the group put together. I mean, they really tested themselves and went and played in big-time games. And, I can only liken it to coaching styles. We used to play St. Mary's year in and year out, and their 5 guys would play, between 34 and 40 minutes. And, they'd sprinkle a couple dudes in. And sometimes it's just style. But what I do know is that first 5 is really good. And the guy that is kind of leading that group, AJ, he's a guy that I saw from distance on film, didn't have a ton of knowledge of who he was, have watched the whole thing, had my trepidations about what could happen, but found that, AJ, first of all, is just an incredible kid who works his tail off. I got that from everybody over there. Really respectful kid, and has been a great leader for the team, not just as a player, but I think he's pretty vocal. And then you've got that ability, to put the ball in his hands in the last few minutes of every game, so that shortens games. But I think they've got talent there, and I think they just need to figure out where everybody needs to play coming off the bench. But I would say that is – I would always be a little bit more concerned if my first 5 wasn't great and I had a bunch of decent players on the bench. I think BYU's got the ability this year, minus some foul trouble, which isn't going to happen. But that's going to be important as they get through the Big 12 here, to work to try to develop a couple dudes that you really trust. I mean, I love Boscovich. I think that dude, every time he comes in the game, something good happens. And I thought he was good for him last year. I think so. It's just a matter of identifying who those guys are and giving them some time. But you make a good point, PK, in the middle of conference out on the road. You're going to get some bad whistles, obviously some injuries and things like that. So that's something you've always got to kind of be building, even if you don't have it right now.
I was happy he made the non-conference schedule much more difficult, but then I just saw a bite with him where he said he's going to reconsider his non-conference schedule. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, oh, no. And then he stunned me with, I don't know what we're getting out of these quad 4 games. I think he wants to crank it up and make the schedule tougher next year, and I'm with him. I mean, they beat Riverside, UC Riverside, by 47. They blew out UOP, Holy Cross, get 31-point win over Cal Baptist. It sounds like he might jettison more of those games and put some more games in there. The people in the comments section, I saw it posted on social media, and it was Utah State Aggie fans that were like, why don't you come to the Spectrum? Play a true road game during the non-conference.
No.
Yeah,
that's a bridge too far. It might not be for him. I was surprised he wanted to make the schedule more difficult because most coaches don't. I mean, the overwhelming majority of coaches don't. But, man, he didn't look like he was joking around when he said it. I'm up for it.
And I like the approach. I like the approach. I think you definitely learn as you go through it. And, yeah, some of those games you walk out after and like, what did we gain here?
Yeah.
What was this? So, for sure, I think with the guys they're bringing in, the home court advantage and everything else, and if you can get teams to come in, that is even the bigger part. But I like that he went out and played neutral games and played Madison Square Garden, got themselves all over the place. That was great.
All right, Tim, we'll leave it right there for now. Thanks for joining us, and we will hear you on the broadcast.
Am I going to see you tonight by chance or no?
No.
No.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. I mean, did I say that on the air?
You did. Get off my radio station, you bum.
See you.
All right, see you, Tim. Coming up, Riley Jensen. He'll join us in about 15 minutes, and we will talk coaching moves and portal moves and what our local teams need next. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present...
This is JJ and Alex.
Let's swipe right on our next quarterback.
I just want to see who's available. And coaches are sitting up in their bed at night, glowing screen in front of their face.
Swiping right on.
Nah, he's pretty cool. Hold on. Yeah, okay, sure. I'll look at him. No, absolutely not. Hold on a minute. I want to be able to look at this mysterious transfer portal because the way it's described to us, it is a dating app. College football has to have a one-on-one with Match.com or with Tinder to be like
the dangers of online quarterback dating.
I thought he was a real guy. I met him in person. He couldn't throw worth beans.
He said he was 6'3". He's only 5'10".
We got catfished in the transfer portal.
Catch JJ and Alex afternoons from 3 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The Mr. Mac Utah County High School Players of the Week are Tabby Clark from Pleasant Grove and Ashton Schewel from Lehigh. Clark led Pleasant Grove to 3 wins over the holiday break, averaging 15 points a game and nearly tallying a triple-double. With 19 points, 14 rebounds, and 9 assists in a 90-67 win over Esperanza from California. Schewel scored 33 points in an 82-77 win over Berkeley, California, and followed up with 19 points in a rout of Mount Si out of Washington. The Utah County Player of the Week award, proudly presented by Mr. Mac. No one buys, no one sells, no one cares the way they do. Absolutely no one. DJ PK, we have the question up. How long can NIL last as presently constituted? PK, it seems like I can't go to social media without seeing that debate. It looks like I can't click on any of the major websites without seeing some kind of analysis of which team is up or which team is down in NIL, who's losing players, who's getting players because of NIL. Kyle was right when he told us 4 or 5 years ago, this is the single most important thing. It is outstripping everything else that has been important about recruiting. So to the degree that collectives and local businesses and donors line up, this is everything now. This is the time right now. The Utes, the Cougars, Kyle with the Wolverines, you've got one shot in the portal to fill your gaps. And why would somebody change teams and move halfway across the country? Man, culture works when you're trying to get someone to stay put. But if you're trying to get someone to move and you've got a hole to fill and you've got to do it, money, 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 and money. I mean, the playing time's already answered. You have the hole.
Who's this Kyle you speak of?
Nice.
When are we going to make the announcement that I am the new Michigan beat writer?
Seems like just a matter of time. I tried out for the job and was rejected. I think it's going to you.
Well, it comes to beat writing, I've never won a major award, but I do have a little experience.
A major award.
Just packing in, more awards. I've never been recognized for any of that. And so, but it is a dilemma, man. It is a dilemma for football programs who have been doing the right thing for so many years and work so dang hard. And you're going to be judged by winning or losing. And it used to be, well, if you ran a clean program and your kids were doing community service and they were graduating and going on into stay in the community and be productive, that was all great, but you better win. Even that didn't matter. And how you're but you're teaching young men and women to be better people and to have these nice, productive lives that we want for every single person, every baby who's ever been born. Everybody wants the same thing. You may accomplish it in different ways, right? And you've done great in that way. But if you don't win, it doesn't matter. And we always had a little bit of a conflict with that. At least I have, and I think a lot of folks do and have had it. Now it's you can do all those things and then get aced out because some ultra billionaire is willing to get his kicks out of 18 to 22-year-olds winning football games of all things. It seems so preposterous that that's what they're doing, but yet that is the situation, and you're over here losing some players who can be big-time difference makers because you are just a little short of cash. Meanwhile, everything else, everything, literally A to Z, everything else, you're doing great at. That is the new dilemma in college sports that we have. And it's tawdry, and it seems almost a shade dirty, but yet at the same time, DJ, we want kids to be paid. We just don't want this much and this much chaos going on. How in the world do we clean it up? As I'm talking about it, I feel my head hurting. It's like I'm getting a headache. What we understand the symptoms and everything, but what do we do about it? What can be done about it? I just don't have any answers that can be done about it to make it so it's a better system for all involved.
I think that we just passed the off-ramp that you wanted and that Mark Harlan clearly wanted when he spoke yesterday. Without question, the BYU administration, Brian Santiago, wants it. I think we can run through all the coaches too. And I just saw a take in the last commercial break. And there's a lot of crazy, weird, nasty, hot take stuff on social media. This one, I thought this guy was honest. You can debate how right or wrong he is, but to me, it just sounds like he just spoke from the heart. Whittingham Corner at Wolverine Corner. There's a conflicted guy. He writes, I hate to sound like a boomer here, but I don't find this transfer portal stuff fun or entertaining at all. The sport is ruined, and it's going to be almost impossible to rein it back in. I'm glad kids are getting a bag, but it's gone too far. They just passed the off-ramp, where the NIL, it's all going to be reviewed. I mean, if the kid legitimately brings that kind of value to a company, then it's okay. But it can't be pay to play. But everyone had to sign it, and they didn't even get close to getting everyone to sign it, which tells me everyone isn't going to follow it. They're going to call it NIL in a lot of places, and it's going to be pay to play. Period. End of story.
Pay to play.
Yes. So it's not changing. Your head's.
I mean,
you just said
you guys said that early on.
Yeah.
We won't pay to play. Yes, you do.
Yep.
You do. You spend it any way you want, but you pay to play.
And
I've got no problem with it because you're winning.
Yeah.
And in basketball, you're 13-1. You're going to win tonight, and you're going to get in the NCAA tournament and see how far you go.
If you're going to be good, then that's what's going to have to happen. Yeah, it's a requirement. Absolute. No way around it. All right, when we come back, Riley Jensen, the local teams building coaching staffs, now trying to build rosters. Where are the holes? Who can help? We'll talk with Riley coming up. Stay with us.